Hey, what's up, everybody? We are DMV Access. This is DMV Access Radio. I'm here with Red State and her manager, Jazzy, from California. Red State's from D.C. How you guys doing today?
Good.
All right, cool. All right, cool. I think it was about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, we had you actually come down and you spit one of the hottest, verses in a cipher that we've ever seen. During this time span, like what would you say has changed the most, since the last time we've seen you?
Sorry, creatively or just in general?
Just in general, or creatively too.
I would say that I definitely did grow more as an artist as far as learning more about, like, branding and expanding my sound, trying to really get into who Red State is and how I can reach my fans in a way. So I kind of, you could say, added a bit more to what I already got.
Okay, got you. All right, so I guess you're under Dreamer Management, managed by Jazzy. Jazzy, how did you actually, find her, and how did this all come about?
Oh wow, this is kind of back in the day because Red Fade and we've been working together for a number of years now. And she actually found my company on Craigslist.
Okay.
It was funny. Her and her brother simultaneously contacted my company on two different occasions, but they did not know that they was actually reaching out to the same guy, same company.
Got you.
So it's probably been about 6 or 7 years now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. And what was it like? Did you immediately know that you wanted to sign her? Like the second you listened to one of her tracks, or how long did it take for you to actually sign her?
Well, we have a strict criteria when we select artists that we choose to work with.
Okay.
So she followed the process and she submitted her information, and instantly I was excited because you don't find too many female producers and rappers. So I felt like she was a diamond in the rough, something special, and I was really excited to get started with her.
Right. I remember the verse that she actually, spit for that cipher, and I just couldn't stop listening to it over and over again. I just kept just that one. Honestly, just that one verse. That was the main thing I would listen to. I would click on that cipher first because it was just so intense. And I remember people, were commenting the actual video, just saying that they would, pay to get her on, one of their songs, and it was just crazy. All right, so but besides from what we did last year, and you've been working on music since then, right? You actually have a mixtape that should be dropping. You said spring of 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that nothing's really set in stone, when it comes to a name or anything. But what can you tell us about that mixtape?
Well, it's an actual EP, so I'm looking at it as more of an introduction of myself as an artist to the fans in a way. So it's the album is definitely, majority of the work was produced by me, but I also work with the other guys, which are another production group that works with Dreamer Management as well, who have produced tracks on there too.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a while now. I was just wondering, after your manager was telling us that you were on Craigslist, just contacting him for the to be managed. How exactly did you get into music? Just tell everyone your story, how it all started.
It kind of all started when I was 7 years old.
7 years old.
It's always been in my blood.
Wow.
I used to write poetry a lot when I was a kid.
Right.
And little did I know that I could put that poetry to music to really make it work that way as a song. So one day what really inspired me was when I was watching the Apollo Live, and there was these two little kids up there. One was rapping and one was DJing, and they were killing it. They were doing it better than any adult I ever seen done at the time. So I was like, yo, I can do that. And so that's what really inspired me to just start, writing even more and just putting it to rhythm. So I had to hone my skills. So every day I would sit by the radio and just listen to it and write to it as I was listening to it and reciting it. So, and then my parents also were another ones that put me into it. My mom, she sang, and then my father was a musician who played the trumpet. So it's always been in my family. And also, shout out to DC Scorpio, one of the legends in DC, first rapper to ever rap on logo. That's my uncle. So it's in the blood, you know what I mean? So it's
cool. And your parents were definitely supportive, of the entire thing?
Yeah, they definitely did.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So, like your manager was saying, like you were contacting, back in the day, you were contacting, just like, what were you actually trying to do? Like when you found him on the Craigslist, like were you like, was that the main goal at the time? Like it was like 6-7 years ago. Like was that the main goal, was to be managed by someone? Or?
Yeah, that was the goal, because I felt like, I've worked my way up to a point where I was comfortable enough to put myself out there to let people hear me, but I felt like, I needed to be guided in the right direction in a way, because, when it comes to the music industry, a lot of times, record companies don't pay much attention to you or take you seriously unless you have representation.
Cool. So like before you actually, before you actually managed by, this company, like what was it like before that? Like, were you just constantly just trying to find people to work with? Were you just trying to get on different collaborations with other artists? Like, what were you really trying to do at that, before this all happened?
Before that all happened, I was working with Target Squad as an in-house producer, and then also I was recording as an artist as well. So I was doing a lot of the stuff, a lot of the running, a lot of the phone calls on my own.
Okay, cool. One question for Jazzy. Are there other artists that you manage besides, Red State that you would like to tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. We have artists in different cities, and and so I'm not just one of the sole managers. It's a team of managers.
Oh, okay.
And we actually collectively manage different artists from out of Chicago, out of DC.
Wow.
We have a hip hop artist in St. Louis. And now that we've established a base in Los Angeles and Hollywood, we're revving up to collaborate with some other managers to come in and take off some of the weight and the load of that we currently have and demand that we currently have with artists. So they're doing great things. We actually produced our own concert at the Howard Theater as a platform for our artists. So a lot of the things that we're involved with, the premise is to create a platform and a foundation that our artists can be showcased in all that we do, whether it's independent showcase or tour, or whether it's a concert that we actually produce, because we actually have hired major talent and produce those concerts, but put out artists on those platforms.
That's great. That's awesome. All right, so what should we be expecting from, besides from a mixtape? Is there anything else we should be, expecting from, you guys, like in the future, as far as music videos, singles that you might drop before the actual, the actual EP is released, not mixtape, the actual EP is released? Is there anything that we should look out for?
Yeah, of course. I got a single out right now on iTunes, and it's available on CD Baby as well. It's called Go Bad. And, we've been pushing that single for like close to a year now. It's a really great club track that we have out right now, so definitely check that out if you can. The next single that we're trying to put out is possibly Vanity, because that's one of my favorites. And that's the one we're probably going to release before we drop the tape in 2015.
Gotcha. As for the EP, like, are there any collaborations, or is it just all you? Or?
Well, I collaborated with Josh Kosh on one of the tracks on there. He's also one of my mates, my label mates. He's also a producer as well.
Is he from the DMV area?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. I was also just wondering, like when I listened to, that verse in that cipher, who were your main musical influences? Like, who gave you that? Like, where did you get that style from? Like, who helped you develop that style? If there were any artists out there that helped.
That I was listening to at the time. I've always been a huge fan of, like, Queen Latifah and the Brat.
Okay.
And I was just listening to, like, a lot of Queen Latifah, how she put some of her rhymes together, and I was listening to a lot of the Brat and how she had the deliveries or whatever. And then I would listen to Jazzy. So it's like I was like, I'm like a collage of music. I listen to everything to get inspired. And then, believe it or not, I was listening to a little rock and roll too as well, Disturbed. So
okay, wow.
I kind of, it was just so much that just inspired me into that. But I know I was listening to rock around the time.
Yeah, it was just a very aggressive, like, it was very technical, but yet it was very aggressive at the same time. Like, you listen to it, you're like, wow, this chick is tough. I would not want to mess with her. Especially that, like, that ending. If you, man, it was. I don't even know what you said, but it was just crazy. And that's what I really wanted to know. Being a female MC, like, right now, like, there are some female MCs in the game right now. Like, what do you think about the female MCs? Like, right now, like, I'm talking about Nicki, Iggy. Like, what do you think about them right now?
Well, I mean, I got mad respect for any female that's trying to step foot in hip hop. Period. You know what I mean? And I believe that, how people like to compare, I compare you to Missy, I compare you to Brett, I compare you to Nicki. I think as a whole, you can't compare a lot of the artists together because they have their own style. But, I really think that, Nicki right now is kind of carrying the game on her back a little bit right now for the females. You know what I mean?
Right.
Love her or hate her, whatever, she's doing her thing. You know what I mean? So I got to respect that. But, hopefully one day I'll be able to change that, where it's just more than one female that you find on every artist track. You get what I'm saying? Like, I would like to have that time earlier where there was a bunch of females in the game doing anything.
Right. Cool. All right, I have a question. This might be a tough question for you, but if you could pick any artist to collaborate with, dead or alive, who do you think would sound the best on a Red State track?
Ooh.
You take your time. You can name a few if you have to, but I just really want to
know. Definitely, I would like to pull Queen Latifah back into it. I think our
Queen Latifah, okay,
explode together. Definitely Missy. I would love to do a song with her. I think let's say to Missy, that there would be some crazy stuff right there.
Right.
Another artist I would like to work with is a cat. He was an underground cat, but his name is Rich. Not a lot of people know him, but he's from the Atlanta area. And the cat raps so fast. Like, I love Rich. I would love to do a track with him. That's another one.
What's his name? So anyone listening to this can check him out. Is he just?
Yeah, Rich.
What's his stage name?
Rich.
R-I-T-V. Okay, cool.
He dropped the album Next to Nothing yet. That don't have. So yeah, that's another artist I would definitely like to work with.
All right, cool. Just before we wrap it up, anything you guys would like to say, to your fans, especially you, Jazzy, like anything that you like to tell all your supporters out there?
Yeah, I just want to say, I feel like, it's just more of like me getting on my soapbox, but I feel like now is the time. It's like the comeback, going back to the old as far as female rappers, because of course Nicki is carrying the industry on her back, but I think it's going to be almost like a revolution of female hip hop artists coming to the industry pretty strong, and I really feel like there's some pretty good contenders out there. And Red State is phenomenal. I feel like she's underrated because she produces and she writes and she sings, and her lyrical content is so clever, and there's great messages in some of the songs and some of the songs her writing. So we're just trying to work diligently to make sure that she gets out there. Island Def Jam was looking at her early part of this year. So
very nice. Yeah,
we're still working. They gave us some criteria to go by so that they can work with us. But we're still working on that, and that's one of the reasons why she's decided to do the EP. And she's DC's trill goddess. So all of her content is that edgy, that strong, that very powerful, like, you know, in your face, you know, type of music. Because when you hear her, you would never expect all of this from such an individual. But
right.
Yeah, we want to say look out for DC Trill Goddess. That's her moniker. That's her what I call her as well. And she's on the rise. She's on the rise.
All right, cool. One more thing for Sate. All right, I did not know Island Def Jam was looking at you. Like, you went from being on Craigslist looking for management 6 years ago to Def Jam looking at you. Like, how does that feel to just know that you came such a long way?
It feels great. It just allows me to continue to just push forward and continue to work towards my goal. You know what I mean? I feel great, and I'm very optimistic about what is to come for not only my career but for the management as a whole, like all of us.
Wow. All right. Well, you know, anything that you would just pretty much all your social media. Like, how could everyone reach you guys?
Well, as far as me, you can go to my artist page on Facebook, which is www.facebook.com/Red Fate Music, all one word, REDFATEMUSIC. And on Twitter, it is www.twitter.com/Red which is just one word, REDFATE.
Cool.
Also, for all you Instagrammers out there, I'm on Instagram, so it'll be, you know, the Instagram /RedFate85. So, yeah, just holler at me.
All right, cool. And Jazzy, any way people can check out, you know, your business?
Yeah, well, basically, dreamermanagement.com is dreamermanagement.com. And we're on Twitter. It's at Dreamer Company. On Facebook, we're at Dreamer Company or Dreamer Management. Instagram at Dreamer Company, and I am on all of those social networking too as Jazzy the Mogul, JazzyTheMogul, Mogul, Jazzy the Mogul.
All right, well, I'd like to thank both of you guys for actually doing this interview. This is for DMV Access Radio. You know, helps us a lot. You know, I wish you both the best of luck. So, you know, definitely keep in touch, and I hope to talk to you both soon.
It's good talking with you, Nate. It's good talking with you. Thanks.
All right, take it easy.
All right, Nate, thank you.